Good day, everyone. For teleSUR, I'm Cody Weddle in Caracas, Venezuela. We're going to begin today with a developing and tense situation in France. That's where, at this hour, it appears the suspects in the shooting at the Charlie Hebdo magazine are dead. We're going to go straight to some live images. Again, the suspects in the shooting at the magazine are dead, according to multiple reports. A hostage they were holding has also been freed. Now, in a separate event, this is a separate event, earlier today, several people were taken hostage at a kosher supermarket in eastern Paris after a shootout involving a man armed with 2 guns. That's according to police. There have been reports that at least 2 people have been killed and at least 1 injured in that event. A police source has told Reuters that the man behind that assault is a member of the same jihadist group as the 2 suspects in the attack at the offices of the magazine. Gunfire and explosions have been reported at that site. It remains unclear the exact connection between these 2 stories. This continues to be a breaking story. Continue to check our website for the latest. We go now to China, where the summit between the Asian nation and the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean came to a close on Friday. The CELAC-China encounter saw the affirmation of a growing development alliance based on mutual cooperation and collaboration. The meeting was attended by the foreign ministers of the 33 CELAC member nations, as well as Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and Ecuadorian President RAFAEL Corrêa. As a result of the forum, China has pledged to strengthen its bilateral relations with the region and increase its investment and support for Latin America in a number of key industries. And for a roundup of the events that marked the CELAC-China summit, here's our correspondent Liz Scherfius.
Foreign ministers from across Latin America and the Caribbean have converged on Beijing for the 2-day CELAC-China summit, which seeks to increase cooperation between the regional body and the Asian giants. Kicking off the event was China's commitment of $250 billion to invest in the 33 member states making up the CELAC body over the next decade.
China has more than demonstrated its economic capacity and, above all, its political will to meet the challenge of this magnitude. This is what has made it a fundamental strategic partner in many of our countries.
Opening the summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping said that trade between Latin America and China is expected to surpass $500 billion over the next 10 years. Present parties have recognized that this partnership is strategic. As an exchange for heavy investment, China will import key products. This includes crude oil from Venezuela, soybeans from Argentina and Brazil, and copper from Peru and Chile, among other goods.
We are finding our way, our potential. We are defining the beginnings of a new type of humanity in the 21st century based on peace and cooperation.
Projected to become CELAC's largest trading partner by 2030, Chinese influence is on the rise in a region long dominated by the United States. Through events such as the ministerial CELAC-China Summit and upcoming China-Latin America Science and Technology Forum to be held in Quito in September, South-South cooperation is deepening in a way that honors mutual interest. Liz Scherfius, teleSUR, Ecuador.
Thanks to Liz. Now, before leaving China to visit OPEC member nations, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro offered his thoughts on China's growing economic power in the world.
China
is achieving something unique in the history of civilization. A great power is arising in order to play an integrating role in favor of world stability and shared development.
We go to Peru now, where former President Alberto Fujimori has been sentenced to 8 additional years in prison. It comes from charges of embezzling state funds and using them to manipulate the media. Fujimori was also convicted in 2009 for the massacre of 25 people by a government-backed death squad. That was during Peru's war against the Maoist Shining Path rebel group. The 76-year-old served as president from Peru from 1990 until 2000 and has been jailed since 2007 at a police base east of Lima, where he is the only detainee. The sentence handed down on Thursday also mandated a repayment of 3 million Peruvian nuevos soles, that's $1 million to the state. And in Honduras, the National Bank announced that the national currency, the lempira, will start a liberalization process demanded by the International Monetary Fund. Now, this means the already weak currency could face even more devaluation and its control could be handed over to private banks instead of the state. Our correspondent Gerardo Torres reports.
The Honduran currency, the lempira, is currently valued at 21 lempiras to the US dollar and was controlled by the National Bank. However, the same bank has announced, under the recommendations of the International Monetary Fund, that it will start a liberalization process over 8 months, in which the endpoint will be a currency completely controlled by private banks.
In practice, it will mean that there will be two rates, an official rate and a parallel exchange rate. The parallel rate will likely be higher than the official rate. In the end, it means that currency exchanges will be handled by the banking system through what is called the interbank market.
According to economists, this year's devaluation rate could reach the 8% and could strongly increase next year with the new system. This will have a strong impact on the national economy, where things such as mobile phone bills, rentals, private school payments, or private health bills are charged in dollars, while salaries are in lempiras.
The economy in Honduras is dollarized. It has not been officially declared, but here the payments of rent, vehicles, and loans are given according to the price of dollar. And a decision to devalue the lempira means that we will have less economic power. This will impact the economy and impact all aspects of daily life.
The devaluation of the lempira is another of the neoliberal decisions of the current government, which will impact everyday life in Honduras, where 6 of every 10 people are living in extreme poverty. Gerardo Torres, teleSUR, Central America.
Thanks to Gerardo. We go to world news now, where Gazans are still suffering from a severe electricity crisis caused by the Israeli-Egyptian siege on the coastal enclave. And they are now facing another crisis, a shortage of cooking gas. Our correspondent Noor Harazin has this report.
As Gazans are still suffering from a severe electricity crisis caused by the Egyptian-Israeli siege on the coastal enclave, they are now facing another crisis, which is a shortage of cooking gas. The latest crisis was felt after Egyptian authorities cracked down on tunnels smuggling fuel and gas into Gaza. Compounding this problem is the fact that Israeli forces allow only a few trucks carrying cooking gas to enter Gaza every 2 months. We visited the BAROUD family, who reside in a refugee camp along the coast. In light of a shortage of cooking fuel, they now use cardboard to prepare meals.
We are refugees and poor. My husband is sick and can't work. We don't have enough money to buy food, so how could we buy gas? At the same time, there is no gas in the market. This is the only way to support my family and to cook them some lentil or onion soup.
With 6 children living in one room, the BAROUD family and many other families in this camp are the worst affected by the crisis. Officials in Gaza warned that the situation could worsen in the future if the crisis continue over the upcoming days and called for expansion of the gas transfer capacity at Karm Abu Salim goods border. However, the Israeli forces continue to enforce the closure of Karm Abu Salim goods crossing, while Palestinians suffering under this Israeli blockade. Noor Harazin, teleSUR TV, Gaza.
Thanks to Noor. In Indonesia, search teams looking for the remains of the AirAsia plane that crashed into the Java Sea on December 28th have uncovered the whereabouts of the aircraft's black boxes. Indonesian authorities announced last Wednesday that they had found the tail of the plane where the black boxes should be stored. Once recovered, the boxes will be able to provide crucial information pertaining to the causes of the plane's crash. Authorities also reported the discovery of 3 more bodies whose remains have been sent to the city of Surabaya for identification. On a lighter note, to finish this midday, in Ecuador, we go to Ecuador, where the occupation of hundreds of dancing devils in a small town in the Andes has come to an end. The Diablada celebration dates back more than 300 years to Spanish colonialism, when indigenous warriors dressed up as devils to foment rebellion against plantation owners. The festival is organized by UNESCO and attracts thousands to the small town of Pillaro every year. More on those stories and others at our website, telesurtv.net/English. We'll also be following the latest out of France. For teleSUR English, I'm Cody Weddle. Have a great weekend.